Hey everyone, before we learn more about Harvard University, we wanted to let you know about our free essay resources. To learn more about the essay prompts for Harvard and other schools you're applying to, visit your essay list to see the prompts, which ones are required, and sample essays. If you want to get another pair of eyes on your essay, visit our peer essay review to get your essay reviewed for free. You can also review other students' essays to help improve your own writing skills. To learn more, visit the link in the description below to sign up for a free CollegeVine account, view your essay resources, and submit or review an essay.
This is the fun part of the presentation. We're going to see if any of you know any of these Harvard celebrities I put up on the screen. Put your answers in the chat. We'll see if any of you are right. In the meantime, as I'm waiting for the answers to come in, I'll just say a couple famous Harvard professors who didn't make my photos. Michael Sandel, the famed political philosopher. Vijay Iyer, a famous jazz pianist, composer, and producer, new member of Harvard's music department faculty, and finally, the infamous Greg Mankiw of economics fame and infamy, of course. He wrote the macroeconomics textbook that probably many of you may have used in high school, and he was the legendary teacher of Ec 10 until very recently, the introductory course in economics at Harvard. All right, I see that some guesses have come in. People have correctly figured out the first member of this elite panel as David Malin, who teaches Introduction to Computer Science. That's right. Great job, everyone. It's the largest course at Harvard and the largest massive open online course at edX. It's been viewed by over 1 million people, and I should say I'm one of those 1 million. I've seen a few of the lectures, and they are fantastic. If you haven't heard of David Malin, check him out. There's a new article in the New Yorker this month, or last month actually, titled How Harvard Star Computer Science Professor Built a Distance Learning Empire. It's a really interesting read, even if you're not interested in computer science, very interesting. Someone has correctly figured out Steven Pinker, that's right. Steven Pinker, the famed cognitive psychologist, linguist, and popular science author who focuses on visual cognition and psycholinguistics. Of his 16 books, I want to say, maybe more, famous ones include Enlightenment Now, The Better Angels of Our Nature, and How the Mind Works. He's teaching gen eds this year at Harvard. Don't miss them, and check out his books if you'd like to. Someone said Larry Summers. That's correct. Nobody managed to guess Esperanza Spalding. No worries, everyone. She is a famous singer, songwriter, and bassist. 4 Grammy wins and 6 nominations. A new addition to the music department faculty. And yes, that's right, Lawrence Summers, primarily famous at Harvard for being a so-so or not so great president, but his accolades are immense. He was the former vice president of development economics and chief economist at the World Bank. He was a senior U.S. Treasury Department official throughout Clinton's administration, ultimately the Treasury Secretary of the United States, also former director of the National Economic Council for Obama. So he is a big deal, teaches some econ courses at Harvard. Pretty cool to check out. Obviously, the guy has a lot of knowledge. All right. My experiences with professors. Harvard has a 6-to-1 student-faculty ratio. You will get to know your professors eventually. In a lot of concentrations, unfortunately, you don't meet the professors until you're taking upper-level courses. That's just how it is. You're going to work mostly with TFs at the beginning. But you'll get to see professors. Obviously, it depends on the concentration. Smaller concentrations, more direct access to professors right away. A general note about Harvard professors, they are not necessarily hired because they're the best teachers. Should you go to a liberal arts college like Wellesley or Vassar or Williams or Amherst, these colleges, the professors are totally dedicated to their work with their undergraduate students. They're hired because they're fantastic teachers. You will get a fantastic education, no doubt about it. At Harvard, it's a little more complex, and this goes for every major research institution. Professors are hired really because they're the best or most established researchers in their field, and they're often very dedicated to churning out research with the help of their graduate students, sometimes less focused on work with their undergrads. It's just par for the course at any major research institution. That said, it does not mean that there aren't professors who care deeply about their undergraduates. At Harvard, I'm still quite friendly with a number of my professors. I think of Kay Kaufman-Chalamet, very well-known ethnomusicologist. She came to a concert I was conducting in Boston last summer. It was really touching. Professor Thomas Forrest Kelly, who was the chair of the music department when I was there, he acted in a concert I put on 2 years ago or so. So I definitely stay in touch with some of my professors. They turned into great friends and mentors of mine. I'm sure the same will happen for you. And as a final note, there are some important ways you should go about meeting your professors as a student at Harvard. Um, uh, Obviously, office hours are the most simple way. Some students don't even really know about office hours. What are office hours? Office hours are a chance for you to meet up with either your professor or lecturer or your TF and discuss anything. You could ask for homework help. You could ask for guidance, help with exam review. Why did I get such a bad grade? I definitely recommend going to all the office hours you can. I'm a big fan, especially when I did less well on a paper. You know, say I got a B- on a paper, I'd march right into my TF's office hours and I'd say, I worked so hard on this paper. I'm so disappointed with my grade. Could you please give me some guidance for help me figure out how I might do better on the next paper? Obviously, you want your professors or whoever's grading your work to root for you. You want them to know you. You want to take their advice. Sometimes they'll even just look over like an essay that you've written and give you feedback, and then you can do the feedback and turn it back in. Some professors and TFs don't offer that, but yeah, I would recommend that. In addition to office hours, faculty dinners, really fun way for students to take their faculty out to dinner in the dining halls on Harvard's campus. They're organized, each house and dorm, or each house in the freshman dorms have one a semester or so. You get to pick your professor. Often a group of students picks one, but you could just pick your own if you want. Classroom to table, I think, is on a hiatus. I don't know why people didn't use it. They really should. I think it's on hiatus because it wasn't used and there isn't funding. The way it worked was that you could take a Harvard professor like out to dinner at a local restaurant in Harvard Square and Harvard would foot the bill. It was pretty awesome. I never used it, but I really don't know why because it's just free food. I would recommend it if it comes back. Oh, class sizes, like I said, 6-to-1. 72% of the courses at Harvard, fewer than 20% of students. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that like all of your classes are going to be small. Like, you know, it's still like the biggest classes have the most students in them. So just because the majority of classes are small doesn't mean that, what it should say is 72% of courses contain fewer than 20 students, just so that we're clear. Yeah, anyway, just because the majority of classes are small, it doesn't mean that that like the majority of your classes will be small, just to be clear, but they could be. And also nearly all Harvard College courses are taught by professors or lecturers. Expos 20 taught by preceptors is a notable, it's not the case there. Same with foreign language courses. Sometimes they're taught by just local native speakers of those languages. And freshman seminars, which we'll talk about when we discuss freshman experience, totally key. Really awesome. They're always taught by leaders in their field, but those leaders might be, you know, like a really important medical doctor or something like that. Not always a professor, but still great. Would recommend taking a freshman seminar if you're a freshman. How do you pick your classes? Shopping week. Everyone will talk about shopping week. It's in every presentation about Harvard everywhere. It's when you get to go to class and pick your classes during the first week. You get to try out a bunch of them. It's not as cool as it sounds. You sort of like have to go to the classes you want to take because otherwise you'll get behind. If you go to a formal interview information session, your admissions officer will talk this one up like crazy. From experience, it's just not quite as cool as everyone says it is. And additionally, professors hate it. They were trying to get rid of it. I think it's still around though. It is a great opportunity to figure out like that one elective class or that one gen ed. If you're deciding between 2 or 3 courses, you can go show up to all those lectures. But you definitely can't screw off and not show up. You have to be going to your classes from week 1 or you're going to be behind. The Q guide, it's the amalgamation of all pre-existing course evaluations, a lot of different metrics. If you want to know how big the class is, you want to know how the teaching staff is, you want to know how much work, what work requirement is expected of you, how responsive the professor is to student inquiries, etc. All that information is in the Harvard Q guide, which is linked to the course catalog, I think. When you pick, this is true for any college, and you'll hear this as you go to college if you go, that you should often pick courses for the professor, not necessarily just for the title of the course or the subject matter. It's true at Harvard, it's true everywhere. The professor can really sell a class, even if it's a class you think you'd have no interest in. Gen Ed's a great opportunity for you to learn important things. I use these to like take classes I felt would make me more like a more generally educated person and citizen of the world, sort of. You know, I wanted to learn about the U.S. healthcare system. I really didn't know anything about it, but I knew it was a hot button issue. And I took it right after the Affordable Care Act was, put in place and, crazy things were going on. So yeah, that was an amazing gen ed course I took. Another one was my course on climate science titled Climate Science and Policy Challenge. The challenge was like we had to like figure out how to cut US emissions by 80% by 2050, and we had to describe exactly where the gigatons were coming from, where the energy creation was coming from in every sector, be it transportation or agriculture, industry, residential life, etc. I mean, like I was thinking like, can we get planes that don't use jet fuel? Probably not. So that has to be a carbon emitter. You know, can we have all cars be electric? But if all cars are electric, we have to make sure all the power plants are electric. How are we going to, you know, cut down emissions in the agricultural sector? You know, like even things as detailed as like aluminum production. That's what we were getting into. Really amazing class. And I think a lot of those classes, you can look for them and you can find them at Harvard. And obviously, when you're picking your classes, consider your general and department requirements.